Here we are, Justin Bosak, reaching us from New York. And specifically, he's going to tell you exactly what area and what he's working on. But he's got a great, awesome realtor team. And I think, like many owners, brokerage owners, team leads, he's gone through the growing pains of how to scale his time, most importantly, his dollar per hour, more money, less time, and what systems and what people he needs to make that happen. It's not easy when you're trying to recruit agents and they have their own workflows, they've got their own ideas. But how do you align everyone towards something that's going to scale everyone's time? So, Justin, thanks for jumping on, man. Pumped to record this and make it happen.
No problem, Paul. Thanks for having me.
Totally. So, right off the bat, a bit of background to how you've gone through the growing pains of scaling a team with the right systems and talent. Maybe start with the things that just maybe didn't work, or even just like what got you going on the journey of now having a team of what, 25, 30 agents?
Yeah, so a team of 25 agents. We also have an office with about 160 agents and then 10 total staff. So there's a lot going on here.
Yeah, love it. And you're specifically focused on what areas in the state of New York?
Yes, we're in Jersey, so it's a Jersey Shore. We're about 50 miles from New York City, so we consider ourselves a suburb of New York City area. There's a lot of people that commute to northern New Jersey as well as New York City for work, but they like to live down here where there's some more fresh air and we have the beach. So.
Mm. That not a bad thing to be around. So how did you get into this journey from like having 25 agents and let's say 25 quality agents? Because I don't think it started that way with anyone who's been building a team. Tell us about that journey.
Yeah, so it started with a discount brokerage called Foxtons. They were in the Northeast. It's a big company in the UK. They dominate the London market, and they had systems and processes and a lot of people. That was my first endeavor into real estate, so I didn't know any other way. Um, the company ended up folding in 2007, right before the recession happened in 2008. But from there, me and my business partners currently, I have two. We took the best things from that company and said, "Hey, listen, we think we can bring this to the traditional model and make it effective." And it took some time to implement because we almost had to restart our businesses because obviously, like I said, it was the recession. So away with it went a lot of those transactions that you had from 2003 to 2007 when real estate was in its heyday. So we had to really recreate how business was done. We got into doing short sales. We got some, bank properties as well during that time, and that was a hassle. That was, you almost had to sell a house multiple times before it actually closed. A lot of those transactions were a year, 2 years. You had attorneys involved. You had people filing bankruptcy in the middle of the process. You had banks that would never call you back. So, we really cut our teeth on doing real estate on a team aspect, that way because we dedicated, one of our agents to really focus on that during that time because we knew that was a lot of in office, a lot of follow up, a lot of processing, a lot of computer work, a lot of paperwork. And we knew that, hey, if I'm working with buyers, which is what I did exclusively back then, I don't have the time to really do that. So if I had like a lead that was a short sale, one of my agents, my business partners would handle that. And if he had a buyer, he would hand that off to me. So that way I could be out in the field for the most part. And, from there, it was we had our other business partner, Abram, who was on the phones all day making cold calls. And these are the things that we were most successful at our other company. So we knew that it could work. Tom was a big listing agent. I was the big buyer agent. And Abe was a big cold caller. And we all had cold call at one time. So we all also understood what each other was doing. And that was kind of the machine. You have somebody that makes the cold call, set up some listing appointments, listings generate the buyer leads, and then I would close the buyer leads. So we each stayed in our lane. I also did a lot of the marketing advertising then. And kind of as we got busy and started getting busier, we had to bring on more agents. And that led to also bringing on an assistant. And kind of the team was born, from there. And now we're up to 25. And most of our agents that are working for us, they know how to do both buying and listing. But our goal is to get them all to become listing agents in the future.
Right, that's an awesome story. And So as far as them being listing agents, I mean, that's where you make the most money, best dollar per hour, most efficient way to do things. Most people start with buyers, right? It's just like there's just more to kind of go out there. Winning a listing is can be difficult. The journey to make them all listing agents, and I guess basically you have to build their brand. Like who's going to give them a listing unless they're somewhat well known? I know you're very big on having agents and motivating them to actually post video content. And I love just kind of, before the recording, we've spoken about you kind of give them this optimized touch point. Um, you give them options. You don't force it down their throat. You say, hey, you can either do 100 calls or one quality piece of content. You choose. And they can happen, one after another. You can mix it up, but it's all about optimizing touch points. So yeah, talk about how you motivated agents to, I mean, hit the phones and or make video happen. And how's that gone?
Yeah, so I've been doing videos since about 2015. I had some like luxury listings, and with those, you've got to be, creative in order to kind of get that business. So I saw that as something that nobody else was doing. It was at a time where I was just pushing limits. I would do drone videos, and that was all cool, but some agents were starting to do it now. So I said, all right, I can differentiate myself and do actual video. I'll be on camera. I'll kind of tour the house just as I would with a buyer, but on video. And those when you're talking 4,000, 5,000, 6,000 square foot house, you're in a house maybe for 3 or 4 hours, doing that video shoot, sometimes the entire day.
Hmm.
But what I found was that now this is a piece of content that I could take to the next listing appointment to differentiate myself from those other agents. Whether that led to somebody buying the house or not buying the house, I
Right.
was willing to invest the money, put it out there, whether it needed it or not.
Hmm.
Whether the house could have sold itself in 30 days. These were things that sellers, they want to show off their properties. They want to have a cool video to show their friends and be able to, kind of highlight,
Yeah.
what they've done there. And even though they're selling it and moving, that's the thing is when it's an exclusive property or a high-end property,
Mm.
people they want to be able to kind of have that as a memory as well.
Interesting.
And yeah, and that's something that I think most people miss out on. I mean, one of those stories that I did an amazing video on, this seller's sister-in-law was a realtor. And because she had never done anything like that before, she never did luxury properties, even though she worked in the same area, they said, we have to give it to you. We know that she can't do what you can do, and
Right.
we feel that that's going to help us get the most money. And I actually ended up giving her a referral
Sure.
off of that deal. But we were talking about a $2 million listing.
Hmm.
So those are the things that if you don't train yourself to do these things, and again, this was 7 years ago.
Hmm.
If you don't train yourself to do these things now, I feel you're going to fall behind in this market because how else are you going to differentiate yourself, right? Back when we started as a team, we had so this is 2009. We had that mindset of doing the professional photography when people were still taking pictures with their phones.
Right.
Again, how could you make yourself look different, more professional? And that was almost our standard. And people would look at the pictures and say, I'll hire you because you have nice pictures.
Right.
And it's not always, hey, that's exactly what you need to sell the house, but it's always a benefit to have those things. So yeah, now it's just getting the agents on board with it
Hmm.
and doing it in a way where it actually is able to be used across multiple platforms because not everybody's all on the same different platforms. So
Right.
I came up with a way that I could shoot a minute to a minute and 30 video that could go on Facebook Stories, Instagram Reels, Instagram
Hmm.
Stories. It can go
Hmm.
on TikTok. It can go on as YouTube Short. So the one piece of content you could actually take it and apply it, across all those things. And it's just training now the photography company to do things in vertical, because I found that's where you get the most impact right now because the way the screen is. Most people are
Right. So
not
the
turning
phone is
their
held
phones.
vertically instead of like horizontally. So yeah, most
Correct.
most social media is optimized. I just want to clarify that. Yeah, no, definitely. So this minute and a half, right? So you got a minute and a half video, and you're basically like if I'm an agent, I'm busy and I'm like not as experienced as you. I'm like thinking of like just I'm doing busy work, right? So this seems pretty daunting, except when you show the vision that this minute and a half video shot in this specific way is going to be an asset that they can use for, different channels, and it's going to help them sell more. So, I mean, we'll show a clip of that shortly, and people can kind of look at that, right? I mean, in fact, it's already something that actually the editor has put in. So, with actually getting that agent to shoot the minute and a half video, what's their workflow? And is it just vertically on their phone?
So yeah, I mean we could shoot horizontal also. We've kind of came up with a trick where you can horizontal it and then split the screens and then have, some pans going
Right.
on the top with you walking on the bottom or talking.
Yes.
So there is ways you can work with it horizontally, but the goal is to actually have the all the video vertically. So yeah, the workflow was I came up with a way to kind of just do an intro and outro. Work with the agents to figure out what those wordings are, right? So just introduction to yourself, the property, very easy, maybe 10 to 15 seconds intro, maybe 10 to 15 seconds outro of you on camera, and then that's it. The rest is going to be just video pans throughout the house, and also drone. We use a lot of drone video as well that you can integrate. And it's a quick video, but it's highly impactful. And we know I used to do the 3 minute, 4 minute, 5 minute videos, and I've seen the numbers on YouTube and then also on Facebook on the back end on how things drop off. And
Mhm.
said it's just not working. People's attention span isn't that long. Maybe a couple of people that might be actually interested in buying the house will watch it that long,
Mhm.
but that doesn't help with getting your content out to new people. If let's say Facebook says, well, people don't like this because they're not watching more than a
Mhm.
minute, then the video kind of dies there
Mhm.
on Facebook and won't get as much reach as if it was a smaller video. And then, obviously if somebody's interested, they'll reach out and maybe take a look at the house.
Right.
So yeah, there's some analytics that went into kind of doing it this way
Mhm.
as well. I have a full-time social media guy. We've been running Facebook ads since they started. I think this was 2015,
Right.
2016.
Right.
And we know what the back end looks like, and it's all been tested and trialed, and it's fun seeing both sides and
Yeah, and
seeing
the
people
agent knows
start
that, right?
winning.
The agent knows that they have social media support. So let's just zoom out here. I'm the agent. I'm filming this minute and a half video. I have an editor in the background, right? Your social media people. So I'm really just this is when I'm listing a place, I presume. I'm listing a spot, or when I'm showing buyers places. I mean, is this in both
Yeah.
scenarios?
So for listings, for sure,
Yeah.
100%. I'm telling all my agents to do it for the listings.
Yeah.
And the cost for us, it's about $500 to $600 for the agents to do it, and that
Right.
comes with all your photography and drone and all that stuff, which is used for other things as well.
Right.
But also, if you don't have listings, highlighting maybe a local store or maybe a local area. So I've done some
Right.
local footage in areas that I'm very relevant in, where you
Mm.
highlight the park, and highlight maybe the different things that a new buyer coming to that area may not know about, some special things about that community that you could also attach and or link to specific properties that you're also selling in that area. It could be a favorite restaurant. It could be just an inside play place that deals with children, things like that people that are looking to move to the area might want to get some more ideas on,
Of
like, what
course.
is
Yeah.
this community like. And it's just extra footage that kind of keeps you relevant on social media, and it
Mhm.
could cost you just a couple $100 to do something like that to secure somebody, but it gives you fresh professional content. And in
Right.
between that, I also want my agents as well, just dropping just quick videos, something easy, something they can shoot themselves. Doesn't have to be, you have to hire somebody to do everything professional all the
Right.
time,
Right.
but it allows people to see that, oh, this person knows how to be professional and use their Instagram or use their Facebook
Right.
as a professional.
Yeah, and I mean, when you break down someone's, let's call it an 8 hour day, right? Um, and they're looking, and they've done their busy work, and now it's time to hit the phones and do 100 calls or one quality video. Like, what does that look like in terms of their workflow? Do you give them like suggested schedules, or like how do we optimize their daily touch points?
Yeah, I mean, so most of our agents are not cold calling at all. There's like a
Okay.
handful in the office. Like even at 160, I may have like five agents that are just cold calling
Uh-huh.
like routinely. A lot of it's just more follow up. Like the team, we're part of like the Zillow Flex program, which is a lot of inbound leads. We get about 150 inbound calls from Zillow every single month, and that number is going to go up pretty soon. So
Mm-hmm.
they're just kind of busy following up with that stuff, which is good for
Right.
them. But most of our focus really is on like past clients and sphere of influence,
Okay.
and not technically calling, cold calling per se.
Right.
Um, so with that, you add on the social media content, and I think you could be successful technically with that without cold calling.
Right.
Uh, there's some agents I've tried to push to do cold calling, that are doing like mailers and stuff like that because they're
Mhm.
actually investing in that area. Also, we do a lot of marketing that way, billboards and mailers in certain sections. So there's some crazy ways to really dominate a market and come in and literally take over. We have like the game plan for somebody to come in as a newer agent, and within a year, you're going to be the dominant agent in that area.
Mhm.
Um, there's a couple different ways to do it. Cold calling is part of it though, but
Mhm.
a lot of people don't want to do it anymore. People don't answer the phone. Uh,
Right.
the data's, the phone numbers are wrong. Everybody's got the excuses, but it just
Right.
comes down to just, you got to be doing something, right? If you're a full-time agent, you shouldn't be there making excuses. It should be, hey, you're working 60, 70 hours a week to
Mhm.
get this rolling. I'm still working 60, 70 hours a week. It used to be 80, 90 hours a week,
Right.
uh,
Wow.
6 or 7 days a week just to get to where I am. So it is a full-time job. I think what problem is most agents don't treat it like that. Most
Right.
agents treat it like a part-time job, and I can just work a couple hours here and there. But yeah, I think the key thing for if you're an agent is to really get into a routine and really get into a system. And what I tell my agents is every Sunday night, look at the gaps in your schedule, right? If you have some showings and you're going to be following up with clients on Monday, I always say follow up with your offers, follow up with clients on Monday, book your appointments, for Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Take a day
Mhm.
somewhere, during the week or the weekend to take a day off. But in between that, if you have let's say you got an appointment Thursday at 11 and then you got another one at 3, find some content to shoot in between then. Don't just go home or don't just go to lunch and just kind of, forget about, the day, because you're not in the office and you can't make calls. Go shoot some content, and
Mhm.
it comes down to really getting into the routine of looking for those holes in your schedule or looking for those opportunities. Because when you see there's a gap of 2 or 3 hours where you can maybe just shoot some content,
Mhm.
then you'll creatively think, what can I actually shoot? What am I going to say? That all takes some planning and preparation. You just don't want to really, if you're new at it, you don't want to just go to the site and just say, okay, I'm just going to shoot. And then now what? You've
Mhm.
got to mentally prepare for those things. You got to make sure that, you get dressed for, whatever you're shooting, and sometimes it's not in a suit, because let's say you're going to go meet up with a restaurant owner or meet with somebody that's local, you want to kind of dress
Mhm.
to, what your surrounding is as well. So a lot of it is just getting into the habit. That's really what it comes down to, and almost breaking down to why you actually want to do it. And
Right.
it's come down to like I had to create a social media course with my social media guy,
Yeah, it's awesome.
with my 15 of my agents that signed up for it,
Mhm.
and really explaining like how actually social media works and why you want to use it and why if somebody comments on your page you want to respond back.
Mhm.
Just the simple details such as that, to kind of help agents realize that you can create conversation and community by reverse engineering it and posting it and letting the conversations come to you.
Mhm.
So it's a different way to look at things. And most people will post and then ghost. They won't
Mhm.
they won't comment back, or they won't DM a person that, or they won't respond to DMs,
Right.
uh, or they won't like the comment. You've got to engage with anybody that's taking their time to engage with you, and that's the only way to do it. I mean, some of the best people in this business that have tens of thousands of followers, even hundreds of thousands of followers, take the time to actually respond back, and that makes you feel good.
Yeah, I mean, to some degree, it's also got to be in your DNA. Some people just really, it's not for them, so they've got to do the minimum viable social media, and the ones who want to go really deep and actually love doing it. I feel those are probably different conversations, but you've got to have a minimum viable social media plan to show you have a pulse, right? And ideally, if it's working better and better, I think they'll buy into it. So they have to see a bit of results, which is sometimes the tricky part because it takes time to see a result. So I feel like you've got to kind of pick your personalities, and you can't win them all, but as long as they're getting their touch points in, as you said, there's many other ways to do it beyond social media. It's just a matter of like what's going to fit with your style and your personality as an agent, right?
Yeah, and one of the things I say to them is, hey, if you wanted to call one of those clients up right now, what are you going to say to them? If you want to follow up with a client, you got nothing to say for the most part, right? Or they're
Right.
going to feel like, oh, they're just calling me because they just want to do, they want real estate business. They want me to refer them something. They want
Right.
something from me. But when they take the time to actually comment on something that may happen in your life, or it's just this funny post with your dog or something like that, and then
Right.
you can comment back and then start a conversation that way, and then
Right.
kind of look in. This person commented. All right, let me see what's going on in their life because you may not be able to see their feed. You may not spend a lot of time on Facebook, but find out, oh, I saw that this has happened. Congratulations. Something like that on a DM could open up a whole new conversation. And at the end of the day, I let my agents know people will forget your name. Your clients will actually forget your name.
Hmm.
Not everybody, but
Right.
there'll be people that you did business with for 5 or 6 years ago, and they just completely forgot your name. If you don't follow up, or let's just say the example I gave is, let's just say that person's at a family event or gathering, or something pops up real estate, right? And they're thinking like, I had a good agent, but I can't remember their name, so I'm not going to say anything. Like, oh, I know a guy. Ah, I forgot his name.
Right.
So most people won't say it. But if you can get your clients and your sphere to remember your name when real estate enters the conversation, they're going to be more likely to actually refer you. So that's something that social media can help you do as well.
Yep, totally. Yeah, I love the way you describe that. You are pretty big on your tools to streamline marketing and the business in general. Why don't we wrap up with some relevant tools that has made your life easier and that of your agents in terms of creating great content and getting those key touch points in.
Sure. So, I mean, I could tell you the best tool to really free me up was transaction coordinators for the business. So that allows you to, then take the time to either show
Mm.
more properties or create more content. That to me, transaction coordination would keep me up at night until like 10, 11, 12 o'clock. And then I wouldn't have
Right.
the fuel to kind of think about the creative parts of how I can actually build my business
Mm.
because I was always turning things over, following up and doing other people's jobs. And now I don't
Right.
have to worry about that. So that was one key thing to free me up in time. Um,
Definitely. Yeah.
yeah. So finding a good photography company or videography company is also going to be key. Somebody that can work well with you and can understand you as a person and really be able to kind of showcase you on video. That's the key. Like what I kind of came up with for my agency, and I deal with this company that really works with any brokerage out there. That's something I came up with it. I said, I need to do something. I need to figure something out to get my agents more on video. These things may not be at the tip of every videographer's hands. Like they may just not know or understand like how marketing and real estate is moving on social media. So it's taking the time to understand like how do I want to make my videos look like? How can I format it in a way and set it up? It's actually pretty easy, but there is some legwork. It took us a couple months to really kind of figure it all out. And then from there, I would say is having the activity, having the listings, so we use something called Real Marketing. So that's a mailer company that helps us get these listings. Right now, I'm actually I locked down a billboard for a year in an area that I'm marketing to. So this is like a two-page glossy brochure that goes out to that community. There's also a billboard right outside of that community where I'll actually put your house on the billboard. And I'm also going to obviously do video and I'm going to do drone. I'm going to do all these things. And we're just coming in and we're just taking over that market that we actually weren't in a couple of years ago. So there's a lot of layers to it, right? And you can't do them probably all, day one. It's a slow build because there's money involved. But And last thing, the last piece is really to have somebody to run those social media ads for you and work on the back end. It's not just boosting posts. You can do that. I'd advise if you are creating content, spend $50 on TikTok, on Instagram, and just hit the boost post button and kind of build your audience that way. And when you get to the point where you're spending $300, $400 a month, that's probably the time where you got to hire a social media manager to kind of control that in the back end and get those optimized so that you're reaching the right people.
Yeah, it's nice to have a threshold, $300 to $400. That's when you're starting to, I guess, buy into it. And yeah, you're right. Maybe who says you can't do it from the start? But if you see you're just, doing it yourself for a bit, which is okay, just kind of dabble with the platform and then start to see where your blockers are. Yeah, I love that tripwire. Justin, we've talked, well, a whole bunch about your journey, and really, it seems like you're doubling down on video. You're really empowering your agents to well, to do it, see the value in it, um, prepare for it, and then you've also built a lot of resources in the background. I mean, if the agent tried to do it all by themselves without you, it would be harder. They wouldn't have the social media course. They wouldn't have your back end. Well, maybe the transaction coordinators, if they're allowed to, to dip into that resource. You've got your social media manager, you've got your video team. So, sounds like as a team lead, you've really given them the resources to start to build video and build their brands and at the end of the day differentiate and not have to do a whole bunch of cold calls or every cold call is a warm call because they've seen that billboard or that two-page glossy magazine. So I think it's awesome how you brought it all together and look forward to seeing how you guys keep evolving from from 25 to 50 agents, doubling your transactions, pushing through in this market. I think it's awesome, man.
Yeah, no, our goal is to really just make it easy for the clients to connect with the agents to connect with their clients. The agents are our clients, but their
Hmm.
clients are obviously the buyers and sellers. So we even do a client event every year. We take over a club, throw a big bash, have a band, and
Nice.
it's a big party. Yeah, they can invite their clients for like $30. So there's many different levels to it. We also have a marketing team that helps out with social media posts, and they're getting trained on how to do reels and how to do the text over one-on-one style videos. So we're continuing to push, and I think the innovation is the key because social media is going to change the game, and it already has. You can see it, and if you're not tapping into it now, I don't know. You're losing business. I can tell you that. You're going to lose a couple deals every single year because somebody else is going to get to that client before you can.
Yes, it's about mind share, as a mentor of mine used to say. So get into the mind share and do it in a thoughtful, value-added way. And it sounds like that's exactly what you're doing. Justin, thank you again, man. This is awesome. We'll have to do this again sometime in the near future.
Sounds great, Paul. Thanks for having me.
You bet, man.